Here's how I cope with the long, miserable winters by compiling my top 50 favorite roller coasters that I have ridden. My personal experiences play a big part in my rankings, so if I'm able to get plenty of rides due to short lines, that will give a ride a boost. If the ride always has crazy long lines, that will cause it to drop down on my list. Plus, any great memories due to riding with family or friends will provide a boost. My personal preferences will play a big part as well. I do enjoy airtime, unless it's painful airtime, but I love everything about coasters, so it's not all about airtime. I like intensity, inversions, and speed, and I seem to have a greater appreciation for variety and rapid transitions from one element to the next. I currently have ridden 645 different coasters, all in the United States or Canada's Wonderland. I'm still missing these notable parks. Here is my list of manufacturers, and parentheses are because clones will only take up one spot. It's obvious who my favorite two manufacturers are. Here are the states that are represented in my top 50, with a tie at the top. 9 of my top 50 are strictly wooden, in line with my overall percentage. And ignoring the merger here, Six Flags still holds the lead. Let's get started with number 50, which is Fahrenheit, the Intamin at Hershey Park. A great drop, couple strong airtime moments, and great inversions. 49 is Lightning Run, the Chance Hyper GTX at Kentucky Kingdom. A small-scale coaster with fast-paced transitions and incredible airtime. 48 is Twisted Cyclone, the RMC Hybrid at Six Flags Over Georgia. A noticeably short ride, but the airtime, inversions, and transitions are all top-notch. 47 is Joker, the RMC Hybrid at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. A longer ride with great inversions and airtime and an interesting layout. 46 is New Texas Giant, the original RMC Hybrid at Six Flags Over Texas. Some elements don't hit, but there's plenty of great airtime and it's a very long ride. 45 is Poltergeist, the premier launch coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Highly underrated ride with a great launch, intensity, and incredible head choppers throughout. 44 is Ravine Flyer 2, the Gravity Group Woody at Waldameer. This dropped a lot on my list as it rode a lot rougher last year, and the park seems to always be very busy now. But the view from the lift hill is one of the best on any coaster, and it has a great use of terrain and solid airtime. 43 is Montu, the B&M invert at Busch Gardens Tampa. It's very intense, great use of trenches, and a smooth ride with no headbanging, by far my favorite invert. And staying at Busch Gardens Tampa for number 42, we have Kumba, the B&M sit-down. Also with 7 inversions. It's one of the most intense coasters ever made by B&M, and it was riding so smooth in December. 41 is the Mr. Freeze clones at Six Flags Over Texas and St. Louis. One of the most intense coasters ever made. It has a great launch, which you can experience both forward and backwards in Texas. A very forceful top hat featuring airtime and positive Gs, and that spike has some of the most sustained airtime on the planet. 40 is Copperhead Strike, the mock multi-launch coaster at Carowinds. Weak launches, but it has a great mix of floater and ejector airtime, incredible hang time, and rapid-fire elements. This moved up a lot after having so much fun on it last year. 39 is Matugani, the Intamin launch coaster at Lost Island in Iowa. It has a powerful hydraulic launch followed by a short but complete layout with several great airtime moments, incredible hang time, and rapid-fire elements. 38 is Zippin' Pippin, the Gravity Group Woody at Bay Beach in Green Bay. Every hill delivers solid airtime, then that ejector death hill gives the most violent and abrupt airtime of any coaster, if you ride in row 3. In that row, this is my all-time favorite element on any coaster. But the whole ride is great and so much fun, and it has a great setting on the bay. 37 is Manta, the B&M Flyer at SeaWorld Orlando, a longtime sentimental favorite. It has a great layout, flying over the pathways, then over the water and past waterfalls, and it has one of the best queues of any coaster. 36 is Time Traveler, the mock extreme spinner at Silver Dollar City. My most ridden coaster of 2023 is so much fun and so re-rideable, as every ride is different because of the spinning. And it has one of the best drops of any coaster if you're in the back. 35 is Storm Runner, the Intamin launch coaster at Hershey Park. It has a very strong hydraulic launch, followed by some great airtime, inversions, and hang time. 34 is the defunct Top Thrill Dragster from Cedar Point, the Intamin Strata coaster. It was a short, simple layout, but the hydraulic launch was insane, and the top hat gives one of the best views of any coaster, and that top hat can, fortunately, still be experienced with the new version. 33 is King Ka, the better intimate strata coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. The launch is even more powerful, and the top hat is taller, and it has a nice airtime hill at the end. It's currently the tallest coaster in the world. The restraints are fine, and the ride is not that shaky. 32 is Hades 360, the Gravity Group Woody at Mount Olympus. 5 years since my only rides, but I've heard it's gotten so rough, which makes me not want to return. If it were smoother, this would probably be the best Woody in the country. It's a brilliant layout with a great pre-lift section and that insane underground tunnel plus an inversion. It is very intense with great airtime. 31 is Mako, the B&M Hyper at SeaWorld Orlando. By far my favorite B&M Hyper, as the airtime is so much better. It's one of the smoothest B&Ms, and the great operations keep the line short. 30 is Steel Curtain, the SNS at Kennywood, with a US record 9 inversions. This is based on my unique experience, where the line was very short all day. It was maybe the smoothest coaster I've ever ridden, and I had so much fun with it. It has perfect transitions, great airtime, hang time, and some intense moments. It's one of the most complete coasters in the world, doing a little of everything. 29 is Thunderbird, the B&M launched wing coaster at Holiday World. I love that intense launch, and it has some great near misses and a wooded setting. I just wish this park wasn't always so busy. 28 is Goliath, the RMC Woody at Six Flags Great America. A somewhat short ride, but it has a few strong airtime moments, great speed, plus 2 amazing inversions. 27 is Boardwalk Bullet, the Gravity Group Woody at Kemah Boardwalk. This is a long ride crammed into a tiny plot of land up against the water. It weaves through its own structure better than any other coaster, and there's plenty of airtime throughout. 26 is the Superman Ride of Steel clones at Six Flags America and Darien Lake. These intimate hypers have simple layouts, but the elements are executed so well, with an incredible sense of speed, which the straight track actually highlights, and it has some of the strongest airtime moments of any coaster. Six Flags America's version seems to ride smoother and has the far better setting going out into the woods. 25 is Gatekeeper, the B&M wing coaster at Cedar Point. I had so much fun riding this during an otherwise frustrating visit to the park last year, and this ride has always delivered for me. I love wing coasters, and this one just feels different than the others. It is glossy smooth, the beachside setting is beautiful, it has some intense moments, and the near misses and inversions are all excellent. 24 is Monster, the Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster at Adventureland in Iowa. I'm probably underrating this ride, as it has the best hang time of any coaster I've ridden, and some incredible airtime, all with just lap bars, and it rides perfectly smooth. 23 is Phantom's Revenge, the Morgan Hyper at Kennywood. It rides perfectly smooth, even with the incredible speed. It has a great use of the river valley, plus it has crazy ejector airtime at the end. 22 is El Toro, the Intamin Woody at Six Flags Great Adventure. It does ride a bit rough in spots, and it has a midsection that does nothing, but it also has some of the strongest sustained ejector airtime of any coaster, and it rides very smooth in those spots. 21 is Prowler, the GCI Woody at Worlds of Fun. Every time I come back here, it seems to keep getting better. A wooded setting, great use of terrain, amazing night ride, perfect pacing with the rapid fire elements, interesting layout as a twisting out and back, and the best airtime of any GCI in the country. 20 is Skyrush, the Intamin Hyper at Hershey Park. Maybe the most intense coaster I've ridden, with some of the most violent airtime of any coaster, which is too much for some people. It has an amazing and fast-paced layout. 19 is Outlaw Run, the RMC Woody at Silver Dollar City. It seemed rougher last year, but I still love it. It is very intense and has the most complete layout of any Woody in the country, with inversions, hang time, ejector sideways and off-axis airtime, and a wooded setting, making for a great night ride. 18 is Maverick, the Intamin Blitz coaster at Cedar Point. It breaks down 95% of the time, and when it operates, the line is at least 2 hours. But for the lucky few who get to ride it, you will experience a couple great airtime moments, rapid-fire turns, and an overrated but still great layout with plenty of variety. 17 is Twisted Colossus, the RMC Hybrid at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It's better when it duels, but it is great even when it doesn't. You get to ride both sides without getting off, and both sides are amazing with ejector airtime, twisted airtime, and inversions. 16 is Fury 325, the B&M Giga at Carowinds. I finally get it. For the first time last year, I got smooth rides with airtime on the first half turns and incredible sustained floater airtime in the second half. I didn't understand all the hype in the past, but now I totally get it. Number 15 is Millennium Force, the Intamin Giga at Cedar Point, every 40-year-old's favorite coaster. As much as I love Fury, and even if it's technically a better ride, Millennium Force makes me feel something on a deeper level. It does have some great airtime, plus a beautiful lakeside setting, and it maintains that incredible speed better than any other coaster. Number 14 is Voyage, the Gravity Group Woody at Holiday World. The airtime isn't the strongest, but there is so much of it throughout, and it is an extremely long ride. It might be the best night ride as well. My best rides came on a night that wasn't Hollywood Nights, so I don't think you need that event to experience this ride at its best. It's just too bad that this park always has such long lines. 13 is Wicked Cyclone, the RMC Hybrid at Six Flags New England. This is a very long ride with so much variety. It has floater, ejector, and off-axis airtime, inversions, hang time, and it even made me gray out on the first turn. Now, the next 4 on my list are my 4 favorite Intamins, and they are all very close. Given the day, any of them might be my favorite, but for now, I have, at number 12, Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. This ride has so much variety with hang time in the first inversion, a great swing launch sequence giving great airtime throughout, plus more airtime on the top hat and outer bank, and the zero-G stall giving perfect upside-down floater. I have had the most fun riding this, and sitting low to the track makes for a perfectly smooth ride. Number 11 is Superman the Ride, the Intamin Hyper at Six Flags New England. One of the best layouts of any non-inverting coaster, with great airtime leading up to and throughout the brilliant Spaghetti Bowl section. It has a great setting along the Connecticut River, and I love those lap bar restraints, but some people don't like them for some reason. Number 10 is Intimidator 305, the Intamin Giga at King's Dominion. One of the most intense coasters in the world. It causes many people to gray out, and it has great airtime through every high-speed turn, meaning that this has more airtime than any other Giga in North America. Number 9 is Velocicoaster, the Intamin multi-launch coaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. The first half has smaller elements with airtime hills and inversions. Then the second half has the larger elements with higher speeds, and that final inversion over the water is amazing. The layout might be a little overrated, and it has developed a very strong rattle on my rides last year, probably due to the elevated seating. Number 8 is Storm Chaser, the RMC at Kentucky Kingdom. This ride barely gets much of a line, but it has some of the strongest ejector and off-axis airtime of any coaster in the country. It's not a long ride, but it is very aggressive, and I love the unique and quirky layout. Number 7 is Steel Vengeance, the RMC Hybrid at Cedar Point. The airtime is nowhere near as strong as other RMCs, but there is so much of it, as it is an extremely long ride. It has a great mix of inversions and floater to mild ejector airtime, and I love how it weaves through its own structure in the second half. However, this always gets a stupid long line, and it breaks down 500 times a day. Number 6 is Iron Gwazi, the RMC Hybrid at Busch Gardens Tampa. This is a far more powerful ride, but it's also inconsistent as it can sometimes run a lot weaker. And the line for it has been getting a lot longer in its second year, even on school days. However, the elements are all top quality with incredible speed, intensity, strong sustained ejector airtime, and quick airtime pops. Number 5 is X2, the Aero 4D wing coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain. One of the most insane and intense coaster experiences on this side of the planet. It has some very strange airtime, and the controlled flipping will have you on your back, on your belly, facing forwards, facing backwards, on the right side and left side of the track. It's one of the few coasters that still freaks me out. Number 4 is Lightning Rod, the RMC Hybrid at Dollywood, and this placement is for the version with the launch, which we no longer have. That uphill launch was such an exciting start to the ride, and the use of the mountain is amazing, making for a great night ride. The sideways and off-axis airtime on the other side of the mountain is followed by that insane quad down, providing incredible ejector airtime. I hope that the layout will remain just as powerful with the chain lift. Number 3 is Twisted Timbers, the RMC Hybrid at King's Dominion. This may have the strongest airtime of any coaster I've ridden. This is the most relentless coaster ever, with rapid-fire transitions from one element to the next, giving you no time to breathe. It is so violent and aggressive, and it's a long ride with no mid-course brake run. I understand if this is too much for some people. I've never seen this get much of a line on my weekday visits, so I'm able to ride it as much as I can handle. Number 2 is Air Force One, the new for 2023 RMC at Fun Spot Atlanta. I don't think there's anything negative to say about this ride. The speed, the smoothness, the insane ejector airtime, the perfect floater from the best zero-G stall in the country, the variety of elements, the use of the arcade building, the fast-paced transitions from one element to the next, the violent quad down at the end, and having no line even on a Saturday. It isn't a long ride, but it also isn't short. Unless you want to complain about it not having a terrain setting, this truly is the perfect roller coaster. But my number 1 favorite roller coaster that I've ridden is Iron Rattler, the RMC hybrid at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. This ride is the one that awoke my passion for coasters and amusement parks 8 years ago. I've since met some great people on it, had short lines, ERT sessions, and I got to bring my mom on it last year. It has the best drop I've experienced. It has great speed, a great inversion, an amazing drop-off and into the quarry wall, and the section on top of the quarry wall is also great. This also has my favorite trains and restraints, and it is the smoothest coaster in the country. I know that this isn't the best coaster in the world, but it is one of the best, and my personal experience elevates it to my top spot. And it will be tough for anything else to ever truly top it. So that'll do it for my list. And being a numbers nerd, I'll give you one more chart of the parks represented on this list. Let me know in the comments what your personal favorite coasters are, as it's always interesting to hear about other people's experiences. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.